Just starting now,
Good.
waiting for the registration process.
Okay.
On my third year.
Third? Awesome. 18 years. Wow, we probably got a veteran here. Brandon, you're 2, 3. Oh, he's counting with his fingers.
A year and 6 months.
Straight down.
Awesome. Brooke,
Yeah, like 5.
awesome. And I saw you just posted another sale on his offering. Good for you. Yeah.
About 4 to 5 months.
4 to 5 months.
This year.
It is on its island. 9 years. But you were on another team before you moved here, right?
Yes, so I worked in Mississauga and then I worked in Burlington before I came up here.
This is my wife, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
She's a mortgage agent.
I'm a mortgage agent.
So she looks after the mortgages on our team. It's a really
But I
good
have
synergy. She's done more in real estate than I have. True. Today we'll be covering the third strategy, do more with less. And the 6 topics were get real, get right, remargin your business, which the 2 are done. I think David Murray did the first 2. And then we're going to do more with less. We're going to find the motivated, and then the Hawkins are going to come in and do get to the table and help buyers and sellers adjust. I've ran through this curriculum a couple of times. I just find it like really, really good stuff. And I've been at this 12 or 13 years, and I just love going back to this. Thank you for even bringing it up and offering it, because it comes at a good time. Since we've been in real estate, I think twice we've felt the market about to shift, and then something changed. The last one was I really thought we were going into what we think we're headed into now, and then COVID come along and real estate went crazy, which, you know, that wasn't what I was expecting just before COVID. So thank you, COVID. But now I really feel like more than ever, we're going to see a shift in the market. There's just so much funk going on everywhere, and nobody has any answers and nobody has any solutions. So I think this is the time where we try harder, not less, and really roll up our sleeves and find new work.
Dave, can I interrupt you for 10 seconds?
No.
Can you, okay, that's fine. Can you just take 2 seconds to tell the people that don't know you about your business?
So we have a small real estate team. That is by design. We're not looking for a big real estate team. Amanda and I actually want more free time. So Chris and Jen and our admin, you know, we're trying to let go of some stuff so we can have more free time. I'm much older than Amanda, but I want more free time than ever. I don't find that there's a shortage of real estate agents. I just, our goal as the team would be to build into people to help them, you know, be self-sustained, as opposed to just like, this is an easy industry to get into, but it's not necessarily an easy industry to do well in. Some people do very well in it. I think most don't. That's fair. The stats are overwhelmingly that 10% of the agents make most of the money. And there's some of the stuff that's going to be covered today is there's always work out there. It's just how you have to go get it. And, we have a large database, so we don't tend to have to go find a lot. We could be busier than we want to be. But when you start letting other people have it, you realize, hey, we have to generate more. I think that's the point of that right now. So we started our team because we felt we had more work than we were willing to do. What I mean by that is we were working all, we were working all the time, and there was always more stuff to do. It just like you just couldn't get an empty plate. We still did stuff, but it just always felt like you were busy. And I think most real estate agents can relate to that feeling, but the smarter you get, I think some of that will go away. Is that what you meant? Okay. So we went through the 6 titles. If you read the book Shift, does anybody know what the book Shift is? So this is just the tabbed guide. When I see these, I'm just like, those are the books I want. I don't want to have to put highlights and everything in. So both the MREA and the Shift book come You can buy it off of Keller Inc., or you can ask the office to order it for you. I have them sitting around. I've read them both several times, but it's nice to just flip back, and especially the diagrams. Some of the diagrams are really nice, isn't it? They discussed 12 different tactics in there. We're narrowing it down to 6. This course is boiled down to 6 strategy, but created to help you through any shift by quickly adjusting to the market you're in. You'll see that some of the terminology changes, but the foundation is very much the same. I heard a comment that this book is outdated because it's been around for 20 years, but it's really just about lead generation and having a database. So it'll never get outdated because that's everybody should be the core of everybody's business. So there's a quote I'll change mine, but not. The challenge in a shift is that in order to do more with less, you must make sure that the less can do more. The challenge in a shift is that in order to do more with less, you must make sure that the less can do more. I'm trying to put it screen. The true test of challenge and shift is to do more with less. It's about gaining leverage with what you have available to you. It means adopting efficiency and effectiveness as tools of necessity. Peter Drucker, author and management consultant, defined efficiency as doing things right and effectiveness as doing the right things. We will cover both today. Define leverage. Are you finding yourself doing more, working longer hours, spending more time with realtors, handling the fears and limited thinking of your buyers, going the extra mile to ensure every transaction closes? Undoubtedly you are. You're doing more, not less. Most likely the answer is yes. In strategy 2, you found ways to cut your cost. In this course, we will zero in on 3 elements of our business: people, systems, and tools, and maximize their effectiveness and efficiency. Leverage is about getting help, doing more, and working smarter. Do you have people and systems in place? Everybody, do they have tool systems and what we know who the people are? Multiply your actions to gain advantage. Take your business to the next level. We'll take the following steps to maximize our leverage. First, we'll learn the 6 core competencies to ensure that we're spending time on our most important business activities. Next, we'll begin to examine our effectiveness, including people and ourselves. And finally, we'll look at the systems and tools we use and how effective they are in aiding us to do more with less. When adopting any new strategy, we'll always begin by making a mind shift. Is everybody just looking at this online? Is that how everybody's doing it? Like, I printed a couple of them. So I'm just trying to make sure I have what you have on your screen. Why do we start with the mindset shift before we get into action? Does anybody have an answer for it? Why do we start with the mindset shift before we can get into action?
I think if we don't understand what's going on, it's hard for us to change our strategy.
Totally.
So for the last year, we put a sign on a Friday and by Tuesday it's sold. Now, go with the same strategy is not going to work.
Right.
So I think if you don't understand yourself before you can even talk, because I'm finding that some of the sellers now, they are still with the mind of last year, a couple of years ago. And for them to understand that, yeah, the market is shifting or red shift, and you don't sell in days, at least if it's not well priced. So
Right, so that's the client's mindset, right?
Yeah, but
But
then,
totally, you were talking about, you had to change the way you think, because I used to be able to sell it in 5 days, and now it might take 35 days.
Yeah.
You're totally right, your mindset had to change. And what about price in this market? Does anybody know how much a house is worth today? Anybody guess that here? Like, really? Like,
You mean the average house or?
no, I mean, if you get an appointment to go to a home evaluation, does anybody confidently go in and think, I can tell you what your house is worth? I'm just being honest. Like, really, that's, your mind has to shift, because if they were worth $1 million, are they worth 750 today?
and we see that on the same lot, 2 listings, then lots. are-
Because somebody's mindset never
and
shifted,
someone
right?
is 1.2, the other one is 9.
And somebody didn't want to go in and tell somebody the honest truth. So that's what I think it means. I'm just trying to get caught up.
Okay.
They didn't print them on what it is, so I
Okay.
can't correlate that.
Okay.
I'm on page 10. Anybody else have a mindset example?
Like as following the guideline, I think to continue to have a positive mindset and continue to have focus and perseverance through a shifting market, I think is what you need to continue on with the models, the systems to get you to kind of the end goal. If you get discouraged and you start to carry a negative weight, I think it really affects not just your business, but it sprinkles over onto everything.
Right.
So,
So kind of the confidence in what you're saying?
yeah.
Yeah, so if you're in a meeting, do you think the client's gonna pick up on that confidence? If you don't enthusiastically, or if you don't positively convey that you know what you're talking about,
What was meeting the market? It give them confidence.
can we control the market? Of course not. The good news is we can control our thoughts and our actions. We must constantly stay in tune with the market and challenge ourselves to adjust and change quickly. It is essential now to get back to the fundamentals of real estate. The book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, reminds us to focus on the 3 L's: leads, listings, and leverage. These fundamentals are the elements that matter most for any agent in any stage of their career, in any market, as a solo agent or a rainmaker with a team. Agents who understand this truth and continue to focus on mastering leads, listings, and leverage will be the ones to not only survive in the shifting market, but to thrive over time. They may have to change some of their tactics, but these agents don't panic. They focus on the fundamentals and fit them to the market of the moment. Thinking back on the 6 perspectives, which one do you think best applies to this focus on leads, listings, and leverage?
Sorry,
Earlier, we went through the 6 strategies we went through. Which of the 6 perspectives do you think best applies to focus on leads, listings, and leverage? Anybody?
Trick question?
No, it's not a trick question. It should actually be spit out by everybody in this room.
Oh, here, I'll go back to the what is 6 strategy.
Help buyers and sellers.
If you would, what does it take to get the motion started in real estate? What do you have to have before you can be good at anything? Somebody to do. Lead generation, I'm sure, is the answer. If you ask me, which of the 6 are most important, if you don't have a lead, you have absolutely nobody to talk to. People want to talk about scripts and everything, but if you don't have a lead, you don't have anybody to practice on. If the cycle of a lead is you want to get to a face-to-face and an appointment and then eventually a contract, if you take that first step away, there's nothing to get good at. So I'm going to assume without reading ahead that that's the answer. The chart from E to P. It's the next slide. Actually, it's the one with the charts. And then I think we're caught up. Does this make sense to people? Like, we all get a lead, we all do the same thing with it, and we kind of continue that cycle. And I think that's a natural real estate career. We just keep hitting it. If we make $60,000, we just keep getting $60,000 and $60,000. If we have nothing to do and we get one lead, we tend to work only on that lead, and then all of a sudden it's done, and this cycle seems to be constant. But with good focus model systems and breakthroughs, we take it from entrepreneurial to it's very purposeful. And entrepreneurial means it's our own natural talent that we're doing. If you have 5 friends and 2 of them will do business with you, that's kind of, you didn't really do anything. It's just your friends knew you were in business. But if you start to lead generate and consistently put their names in a database and keep in touch with them and contact with them and give them items of value, eventually it'll be very purposeful and you'll have a predictable business. Maybe not to the point where you know you have a paycheck on Friday, but there's a pretty good chance those people are going to do business with you when they do business. So far in this series, we've touched on 2 of the 6 personal perspectives, being learning-based and being accountable. The reason we are reminded of these perspectives in every course is that these are the ways that the most successful people approach their lives. Gary Keller created these from years of research on what successful people do, and it very much applies to doing more with less. E to B, from entrepreneurial to purposeful, offers us a path from doing what comes naturally to us to being purposeful about doing what comes unnaturally. Lead generation come naturally to anybody in here? Anybody good at it? Does anybody have too many leads? We all do. So it's probably fair to say after you reply that I'm better at it than any of you, and I suck. That's a fact. And I think I focus on it. And you think, I could do so much more. It's time to do what comes unnaturally to us. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent teaches us that when you put your energy, creativity, and skills into achieving the first 2 L's, which are leads and listings, generating leads and building the listing side of your business, you almost certainly will need leverage to break through to the next level. And that's what I was kind of saying about our team. We were okay at the first 2, but we didn't have the time to do it all or the desire to put that 24 hours a day or 25 hours a day into it. So we needed that. We needed people to come and help us with it. It's not easy, just like cutting expenses isn't easy, yet it's essential to survive in the shift market. In addition to the 3 L's, the book Shift clearly defines the 6 core competencies for a successful business. These 6 core competencies are essential and must be done consistently and well. These are the 6 core competencies: lead generate, capture and convert to appointments, present to buyers and sellers and get agreements, show buyers and market sellers, write and negotiate contracts, coordinate sale to closing, and manage the money. For some reason, we're all real good at 2 to 6. Right? If we get the lead, just like, I would say almost every agent's better at me from 2 to 6 because it doesn't, I just like the lead generation side of it. Like, I think anybody with a nice personality could probably go show somebody houses. Is that fair? If that's why most people get into real estate, they think that's the part I can do. Sarah's sister, I think her name was Sarah. The girl that just was on maternity leave. You recruited her sister.
Oh, Sammy's sister,
Yeah,
Sarah.
Sarah, yeah. Sarah was the most honest person in a class. She said, I never, ever thought about lead gen. I never ever thought where leads were coming from. And I thought, amazing. Like, nobody's ever said, I thought about this and decided that's what I was going to build my career on. Your business success begins with 1, lead generate, capture and convert to appointments, which we'll cover in strategies 4 and 5. Find the motivated and get to the table. Your mission is to get all these activities done at a high level with the fewest resources. Let's look at this list of everyday tasks and talk about who is doing them. Who is responsible for executing each of these competencies? So in each person, if you're an individual agent, who's responsible for them?
It's just waiting. I'll do everything.
Yeah, you certainly will, won't you? You have to. You have a team, right? You have a
My
partner?
husband works with.
Yeah. Does he do anything? Because I'm a husband, I know I.
No, he got his license, I guess, 7 years ago.
Okay, so you do everything.
So like help, but I end up being his assistant sometimes, so yeah, no, we go back and forth, but yeah, I do
Right.
everything. He's not on the Zoom call, you know.
So if you have a team, you could start to identify. So in our team, I might try to capture the lead, but I might give it to Chris to go try to get the appointment with. And that's really one of the dynamics that I struggle with is, do you give it away too soon? Right? Because if Chris isn't good at lead generating, he's looking for a yes or a no. Like, do you want to go see a house? If he gets the no, then that's kind of where things stop. And I don't think lead generation stops there. And I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, but that's the tendency. The tendency is I need more leads as opposed to I got 500 people here. One of them must want to buy or sell a house. It is your responsibility to complete each of these competencies. In a fast-paced market, you may have delegated these activities. In a down market, you need to get back in front of your customers. As we discussed in strategy 2, you must be the one to examine and therefore manage your money. These are the 6 core competencies. Who is the most critical person in your business? It's you at the center of it all. The power of leverage happens when you add the who, how, and what to your business. High achievers know that all 3 forms of leverage, people, systems, and tools, must be utilized, and people are the most powerful form of leverage. You may be in the stage of your career where you're a solo agent. You are all things in one. You are a lead generator, a buyer's agent, a listing agent, a bookkeeper, a runner, a marketing coordinator, a call coordinator, and the list goes on. As you get busy with more clients, you realize you need help. So you add people to your business, and they help you get organized with systems and tools. Sound familiar? In fact, when you find the right people, they will bring with them the systems, tools, and know-how to automate, standardize, streamline, and organize your business. They'll free you up to do what you do best, and together you'll take your business to the next level. Think of the impact you'll have once you have the right people, systems, and tools in place. It all begins with you. It's time to create a new vision for your business based on new circumstances and find yourself in it with a shift. Now is the time to be clear about your personal efforts are getting more of the important things done cost effectively. Once you have clarity on these things, you can focus, your focus can shift to others in your business. Why must you have a clear vision for your business so you can articulate your vision and attract the right people? I guess they give me the answer there too. Why must you have a clear vision for your business? I gave you the answer. Why must you have clarity on what your role is? Are you crystal clear on what you should do and what you should not do? Knowing this will help when it comes to delegating work to others. The point I just said, when you have a lead, if I give it to Chris, he's looking for a yes or a no. Or he could be looking for a yes or a no, like, do you want to go see a house? Do you want, whatever the question is. It's funny, I've never really had that goal. My goal has always been to get their name, email address, and phone number. And that's actually my goal. I hope we get to go see a house, but I'm always thinking in the back of my head, if I don't have those 3 pieces of information, I can't communicate with them over the next 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, as you usually do. Why must you be cost effective? As we covered in strategy 2, we learned it's only way to protect profit and survive in the shift. So we've all seen an agent, I think, spend all their money up front. I remember Kenny McLeod never sold a house and went and put $10,000 into a website and thought, like, this is just gonna Mark Ferris look at because I have a website now. You quickly, I'm not going to give you this, quickly rate themselves on the 4 attributes on the scale of 1 to 5. How does everybody think they're doing that? These core competencies, like lead generation. What is your strongest
Go back to.
No, it's okay, don't worry about it. What do you think your strongest suit is as a real estate agent? We saw the 6. You're new into real estate, right? So what do you think your strongest, what do you most have to contribute to real estate?
I'm not actually sure yet. I haven't got the chance to talk to people yet because I'm still waiting for the registration and everything.
Right.
But
But something, you wanted to get into real estate for a reason.
yeah, I like people. Like I like helping people.
Does anybody not like people?
Sometimes.
I think we're just-
I like something.
No, I just,
He starts and I like something.
a common answer is, I watch Home and Garden all the time. I just think I'd be good at it. Like, has anybody ever heard that? Am I the only one who's heard? What made you get into real estate?
I think I can close with you.
Sorry?
I think I can close.
Yeah.
Make the offer and make the deal. Like usually I don't lose when I go with the offer. So,
You say usually you don't lose,
Yeah, but
so you just need to get to the table more.
yeah,
What's your strong suit?
Why I got into.
Or what is your strong suit? What do you feel you're best at in real estate?
Feedback from, it's rather what I feel, feedback from others is usually attention to detail and professionalism.
Right, which is really, really nice, right? So it kind of creates a value proposition for you for the next client, right? If you already know what people think you're good at. And I would do the same with you. I would say, hey, I'll negotiate the snot out of this for you. Yeah.
I would say lead generation, then follow-ups, and just being consistent.
And we know that's true because we walk by in Brennan's office. He's always on the phone.
Yeah.
What was that with the umbrella?
Everyone can hear him doing all this follow-up.
We can't, it's Drew, right?
It's true.
Drew we hear.
Drew, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
You seem louder than myself.
Yeah, I don't really hear you.
I try to keep it down.
Under the
Sometimes
sun
it gets a
umbrella.
bit.
Maybe your son like muffles a little bit.
There you go.
I would say I'm better at lead gen, like in person, like door knocking. I find I have like build a better relationship than over the phone. Sometimes I think when I call people, they're like, who is this kid on the phone or something? But
Liam?
yeah.
I thought maybe I'm a little bit weird and different than everybody, but I kind of like when the thing doesn't go right. I like to help the client to put in the right track back on the right track. Like it's kind of rewarding for me. Like because they freak out, they think everything was going to go wrong, and then suddenly things go right, and that's very rewarding. They figure out, okay, yeah, everything works.
So you like to find a problem and solve it.
Yeah, I think that's
No, it's a good trick. It's a good sales trait, actually. Just find a problem and solve it.
Yeah,
That's, if you can find somebody's problem and solve it, why wouldn't they deal with you?
yeah. But I like the feedback. I like if they look at you and say, okay, like, you're right, or thank you to help me to go through that. And I think that's the most rewarding part. Because they think things are gonna fall apart if they don't sometimes. And I think that's very nice.
Allison, did things fall apart?
Sometimes things fall apart. Yeah.
That's what your superpower.
I think I just have a good understanding of houses, so I can articulate that. But I think probably my biggest, which is also, I think, probably not a downside, but I think my work ethic, when I had, it's like a dog with a bone. Once I have the bone, it's just, I need to learn how to get the bone. My own problem.
With the 4 questions that are on the screen, I'm just going to go around. Rate yourself between 1 and 5. Who has a clear vision for the business? 1 to 5.
Do we say
Sure. Just be honest.
2.5?
2.5. So you're 50-50. Who has clarity on their personal efforts? 1 to 5.
4.
Who had 4? So you're pretty clear on what your efforts are going to be every day to judge how it's.
Yeah, between a 2 and a 3.
Who has 1 to 5 to get the most important things done first? Sorry?
I'm actually.
That's
the task
that's your
For
strength?
that, yes.
So what's the number one thing you do in the day?
The number one thing I do
Yeah,
is the, well, follow-up to.
yeah, so you get the most important things done, and to Allison, the most important thing is to follow.
Yeah, you can try.
This may not apply to everybody, but on a 1 to 5, who's cost effective? So I don't think on teams, I don't know everybody's team structure, but most of the expenses go to the team, and most people don't have to focus. You got gas, a car, you do typically. Okay, those are- We've got our mindset shifted into gear. We're ready for leverage. It's time to take action to ensure we survive and thrive. We will assess the effectiveness of our current business model and plan for necessary change. We've already addressed what steps we need for ourselves. Now let's look at all the other people who work with us in one way or another. Then we'll look at systems and tools. How many hours a day are you spending on activities other than lead generation, lead follow-up, and appointments? Are you buried under transaction paperwork? Are you spending hours preparing marketing, addressing mailers, updating web pages, bookkeeping, staking signs, refilling flyer boxes, building trend charts, and calling mortgage and title companies to check progress? These tasks have got to get done. However, when you see that these tasks are not the tasks that bring you profit, and they are taking the time you should be given to critical activities of generating new business, taking listings and selling properties, you need to reevaluate your situation. You need leverage in the form of people. You see, if you fail to delegate to others the tasks that prevent you from making money, you are trading your time for money, which doesn't scale. And I think that is a real estate team. That paragraph is a real estate team. You have to have other people to help you with stuff. Otherwise, you do everything. And if you do probably up to 10 deals, it isn't hard to do everything. As you get to, especially if they are spread out, but if you get to 20 deals and they all come in the middle 4 months of the year, you start to feel it. Or you get 3 listings in a week or something. Those can be some of the challenges. Where do you think you should get more help? Let's rethink how our businesses can work. It's time to move beyond I do it to we do it. We've covered this. Are you doing it all yourself? Review the yesterday part of the slide about doing it all yourself, which I think we're on. I think there is a slide that like yesterday and today.
Page 19.
Yeah, she's on the slideshow.
Yeah.
If everybody's on their book, it is page 19. Just.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay. But basically, the 2 sides, this is how we did it yesterday, but once I started getting focused, and this is, there's a we, not an I in it. When your business is just you doing it, this is when your job feels like work. You are at risk of not surviving. On the today side, the work is divided up. You must now communicate your vision. We now need 2 or more job descriptions. Someone else answers to you. You're a trainee and a trainer. You must create the power of 2, which 2 people can do more than the 1. This takes direct effort. Your work environment is now about team effectiveness. It has to work for everyone. Does that make sense to everybody? Your business is defined by people leverage, success through others, and you can buy back your time and increase your impact. What's the first position people usually try to get in real estate if they want help?
Well, let's look at admin.
Totally. If somebody would just do all this paperwork, I'd have more time to go do whatever I want to do. With no judgment, where are you at today? Where do you want to be in the shift? If you already have help from others, is it working for you? Brandon, has the team been beneficial? Because you came right into a team.
Yeah, it definitely has been. Just
being able to focus on some days, I have to do like some of my own paperwork and stuff, which takes me away from doing my lead generation and follow-ups. So there's some days where I'm not hitting my goal of the day because I have to do some paperwork and stuff. It's definitely beneficial to have a team around you that can do paperwork.
I have a solution to that. Be so bad at paperwork, they won't let you touch it.
I'm like tremendously good at it.
I'm just joking.
Andrew makes me look over his stuff.
Oh, is that right? I was just joking. Kind of. In most cases, to succeed in a big way and grow, you must have a team of people helping you. Start thinking of your team, not just in the people you employ, but as a larger circle of people in your life who can help you achieve your goals. There are two types. Those who you hire and pay a check to, whether salaried or commissioned, and vendors who support you. Both groups need to be effective because they are equally important to success. So let's think about who you consider to be on your team currently. So who do you think is on your team?
As a vendor, I think to have a connection with a mortgage broker. But I think you guys, like you do a lot of the mortgages, right? I find myself when I'm talking to your clients, one of the first questions, how much do I qualify?
Right.
What can I afford? And
You're right, Rod, but that's the indirect employee. Who do you control? Like, who's the pay, and is it just you?
yeah,
Yeah. So you're the direct person.
yeah.
And a team would have more direct people. They would have their men, they'd have buyers reps inside, outside. You could have a bigger team, could have a lead generation inside sales. Who would you consider indirect employees or indirect people who could help you with your business? And now that's where I think you may want with that. So Rod mentioned having a connection with a mortgage broker. I can't have a connection with the mortgage broker, and I get emails all the time. And I just say, well, you just run it by my wife, and they just LOL, but they still try. I find it funny. Because what I find funny is some of them keep trying, and I admire that. I don't think of them as bad. I just think, hey, that's, they're going to get to that 12th or 15th touch where my wife leaves me. There's room for a mortgage.
But you can appreciate the fact that they're continuing to be persistent and pick up the phone. And people who are in lead generating business, which is what we're in, along with selling real estate. When someone comes and knocks on my door to sell me something, as much as I'm like, oh God, I have things to do, at the same time, I'm like, you got up, put your clothes on, and you came to knock on my door to sell me something. So I'm always like, good luck on everything. I don't have time to leave.
See, I just came because I don't like anybody knocking my house. So, and I said, how can you do this business if you can't do door knocking? But I hate when someone can do door knocking.
Right.
So I will never do that to anyone. That's just
Right.
me, my personality.
And that's a very good point, Rod. So put zero time into it.
Yeah.
But find out what you are good at for lead generation and kick the snot out of it. Tell Tom Mitchell not to door knock, because he'll laugh at you, right? Like, he's a door knocker and he's a master at it. I remember when we met years ago, your passion is lead generation as well, right?
I like door knocking. And as much as people have a hard time getting out the door to do it, I remember I took Jen to try to get her to have it be encouraged. Because the quality of relationship that you build with the people when you knock on somebody's door is I feel that it's much more of a quality lead than a quantity lead when you're making the phone calls and and though I am a full supporter of cold calling, because I think that people can do it amazing better than I can. I'm much too sensitive to be hung up on 10 times a day. So for door knocking, I find that people don't slam the door in my face. I'm non-threatening. And the relationships that I build with those people by having a conversation with them are quality relationships. That I put them in my database, and I'm still kind there. And I'm still following up with them after. So as hard as it is to get out the door, I think
you have
The fact is,
passion for that, right?
the fact is, either you're good at it or you're not, and you can generate a great business with it. But if you don't like it, your people will know. Like, don't do it. But you have to find what does work. Sorry, I'm Dave.
Hi, I'm Razik.
Razik? Hi, Razik.
Hello, I'm Sarah, Chris, Liam, Brennan. Oh my God, Allison, I almost like called you Alicia. Amanda, and this is Giovanna in the corner.
Who else could be indirectly on your team? Has anybody got a lead from somebody that they deal with indirectly? Is it a home inspector or a stager? Sorry,
Contractor?
a contractor gave you a lead? Yeah.
My neighbor actually gets to build that, and sometimes, I wouldn't say direct leads, but, we help each other for sure.
Sure.
I'm gonna put my hand up and talk about the indirectly employed by you, but opposed to a mortgage broker, the other people that we work with are out of town agents,
Could be.
referral agents.
Some people build a business, that's all they do is keep in touch. I get emails all the time from Texas and the Keller Williams with the command is very easy to send everybody an email, see if they'll never give you visits. I think Dave McMurray is a good example of that. He's the only, well, not the only one now, but he's a Keller Williams agent where you got all these Keller Williams agents in Toronto, but they don't want to drive up to the Skokie. So he probably gets a very good referral business from them. For the people you directly employ or plan to employ, we have a system to get them on the same path as you. You're going to need them to understand the situation and work together to survive and eventually thrive through a shift. This may be a tough question. When you think of the people you employ, are they truly talent who magnify your potential outcomes, multiply your actions to gain advantage, and take your business to the next level? So think if you, this is to the people directly you employ. So in my case, I got Chris, Jen, and admin. Do they magnify your potential outcomes? They certainly could, right? Through training and coaching, multiply your actions to gain advantage and take your business to the next level. I think that's the true intention of a team, is for those things to happen. If the answer to these questions is no, it's time to reassess who is on your team. For those who help you achieve your goals, fantastic, they're talent. However, you must help shift their thinking to align with your new mindset. The book Shift has a 7-step system for this. Do we have a 7-step system slide?
Sorry, delayed.
There we go. Share your vision for your business. Ask each person if they are willing to do whatever it takes. Realign job descriptions around 6 core competencies. Set goals, standards, and activities for each person. Establish a training schedule. Meet weekly to reevaluate success, so to evaluate success and celebrate victories. So, anybody have any comments on that 7-step slide?
Sorry, I talk so much. Yesterday at the Markham, there was a panel of real estate agents that have pretty large teams talking about this. And the Michael McDougall team, who is in at Keller Williams Energy, he was saying that he does exactly what Dave was saying. If you're not a door knocking person, go with what you're good at. And each of his team members are good at different things. So he has them tackling different parts. So him trying to set the goals and standards and activities for each person, it's individual. Like Bobby was really good at social media stuff and other guys good at phone calls. So he was saying just like play off your team strengths and let them help that way.
And typically of all the seminars and all the courses and everything I've been on, every team leader, these great teams, even though they know what everybody's strength is, they'll always tell you that 80% of the business comes from their database. I've never heard anything different than that being the number one thing. So for those of you who don't collect names every day, you're missing out on 80%. Don't be afraid to get out of business relationships with people on your team who are not contributing to them as you need them. Has anybody a lawyer? Do you have a lawyer that you give out all the time?
I have a couple, a small handful.
Do you ever get referrals from them?
Once.
Once.
Yeah.
No. So do you have the wrong people? That's what it means. Like, we're fortunate, very fortunate. We get referrals from those people, from their staff. I'm just speaking in general, we have. I don't think we're not gonna build a business on it, but if they're not thinking of you when somebody talks about real estate, it's probably not. Like, if you get a lawyer that everybody in town deals with, it's pretty hard for them they're giving their leads to somebody. Maybe it's time to change. When thinking of hiring, your goal must be to hire talent. This process requires time and a thoughtful process. We strongly recommend you take the KWE course Career Vision. I think of hiring not just as employees, but like when you think of who you're giving your referrals to, who's doing your home inspection, that you're hiring them for your client. Hopefully, it's reciprocal and they have a good enough relationship with you that they would give you referrals. And if not, change that. Like, build more into them. Don't just think of them as a phone call or booking. Like, try to become in their headspace. If having leverage is important to your success, then you must time block and be consistent with these steps. It will be an ongoing process. If everybody doesn't have this page in front of them, I'll just ask these questions. I want the amount of time each week you plan to work on each of these steps. So we'll just run through it as a team. So how much time per week do you plan on working on these steps? So share the vision for your business. I'll take this one because I'm the team leader in here. I don't do this well because ultimately the vision for the business is to sell houses and list houses. And to me, that's kind of hard to say, okay, I'm going to list 30 houses. I mean, I have no idea how many houses I'm going to list, but that is something that I should focus on, and I should focus on and be more intentional about. Who in here is willing to do whatever it takes if we're headed into a shift to get more work? How much time per week will you spend on doing whatever it takes?
Wouldn't that sentence primarily relate to lead generation and how you're gonna do lead generation?
What I find with every question is, if you can't think it through more, right? Like you can't, okay, what does that mean? So now you take it to another level in your brain. Okay, if I'm gonna take time to do whatever it takes, what is whatever it takes? When you can say, okay, I'm gonna lead generate, that would be one of them, right? One of them might be to build into all those allied resources, like whoever that sphere is that could potentially give you business. Whatever they are, now take it to another level. What am I going to do? Like lead generation is pretty broad, right? Like I'm going to lead generate. I remember Chris Leader saying, people, agents just say, I'm working on FSBOs. They drive around the block, go back to the office, drive around the house, the FSBO, but never do anything, but yet go tell every other agent, I've been working on FSBOs all day. Like it's what actions are you taking to do those things? And then when you find the one you're good at, what is your best lead?
Social media.
Social media, really, eh?
Yeah, I get all my leads there.
All of your leads there.
I'll give you an example. Last week I did a live for 20 minutes. I got 3 leads.
You did a what?
I did a live. So we connect on Instagram and 20 minutes we talk about the market.
Who'd you talk to?
Myself with who else was connecting there.
Yeah, but who's those people?
All people that are following me, right?
Oh, so people follow you and then you held a
So
chat.
connected.
Some people came on to listen to you chat.
Yeah.
And then you had 3 leads.
Yeah.
What are
on there is a listing of 1.5. The other one is a condo. They want to sell it, and because they are people that I find myself start knocking. I present myself, sell a brand, and then they like it, they connect it, start a small conversation, then they start following, they start asking, and then
So on our list from lead generation, so now you're at an appointment?
Yeah.
Or did you get a listing?
I got a point.
You got appointments. So now you're gonna go to the next level, you're gonna meet with them and build a relationship with them and become their expert.
And we never spoke before, but I know because as soon as they start, just like you get phone numbers, emails, and stuff, as soon as they start following, I send a message, introduce myself, or create
A direct message.
Yeah. So then I have their connections, I have their numbers
Awesome.
from there. So I never call anyone, I never knock on the door, but I just show myself on social. And
So what do you need more of?
I need,
more followers.
that's right.
That's that it is. I don't agree with it. It works for Rod. Why would he stop? Doesn't mean, I just not a social media guy. I just think, "Ew, just keep that away from me. Nobody needs to know what I'm eating or.
And I think because, I think that the way that I try to create the system, because I'm not a Canadian, so I do have an accent. And I, if you choose, if I have to knock someone's door and start bundling my words, and so I say, no, I can't. So I understood that my clients, over 95% are Brazilians and people that speak Portuguese. So why I'm gonna be focused on Canadians and
Okay.
I'm getting my connection.
I believe you. What's your second best lead generation?
Right?
What's your second best one? Your lead generation, social media is your number one thing.
Right.
What's number two?
Just gatherings, social gatherings, getting to.
Yeah, what?
Doing social gatherings. So.
Like
for
one on
church,
face to face?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So do meetings and, I'm connected with the church.
Yeah.
So that,
How clear was he on social media? Very clear, right? He knows what he's doing. Wasn't, I didn't find he was clear on like, what's the social gathering? Like I go to theirs, like, you know what I mean? Like, but you'll find if you track your income, it's the same way. 80% of it is there. And then all of a sudden your number two is a lot lower and 10 might be an open house with one a year. So good for you. There are people you employ on a contractor or part-time basis. They are still on your team and they help you succeed by doing the tasks that you are not good at or don't enjoy. Your time is best spent with dollar productive activities. That is, the activities that make money for your business so you can employ people and pay others to help you. That is, if your finances allow. Thank you, Amanda. These are a list of potential contractors for tasks that need to be completed. Do you do everything yourself, Allison?
Not from this list.
No? Or do you have to get somebody else to help you with?
Well, I do not do my own bookkeeping or accounting. So that I source out. Oh, I send out, like marketing material. I create it myself, but then I send things out for print. Yeah, yeah, other than that, I guess I'm just a contractor.
So the only one you said you don't do is your bookkeeping.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you review it? Like, do you look at categories of where your money's going
She goes over it with me.
with you? Okay.
Yeah.
So you run through it?
Yeah.
Otherwise you don't know where your money's going. Put a check mark besides the ones you already employ and put a plus sign by the ones you would consider employing once you get your budget in alignment. Is there more you'd rather get off your plate on that list?
I'm sure, yes.
Which one?
Transaction coordination. It would be nice eventually to get like a part-time admin to.
Because it is time consuming.
Yeah, and social media. I'd like to get out that off my plate too. Maybe I'll have to talk.
Yeah, you're good. I see a theme going here.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Shake on it.
And then I think your market center offers some of these services as well. We don't use it, so maybe that's true, or maybe it's not true, but I think to some extent, well, the front desk do listings in that? No. My mistake. You also have a group of people we call allied resources. They are your phenomenal outside support team. They are the people who help you build, sustain, and improve your business, the vendors you turn to, and professionals in the community who can offer aid. For example, mortgage and title companies. They often create high-quality charts and graphs to use in their own presentations about market trends. Ask about co-branding needs. So most agents used to put a mortgage sheet inside of their brochures. Teams are starting to have more and more of their own mortgages in-house, but it used to be quite common. You go into a builder's model, they'll have a sheet there with rates on it from Scotiabank, but your brand is on it. Lender partners pre-qualify and pre-approve your buyers and sellers, and they can help guide your customers and answer questions about financing. Closing company, some of this terminology is American, but just related to our closing company, which is we would use our lawyer for. They do standard post-close mailing to the buyer and seller. You may ask to include a welcome to your new home, congratulations, or final messages, or you can do it yourself. Inspectors, appraisers, handy persons, landscapers, and stagers. Other types of businesses targeting your same geographic farm, restaurants, tree trimming, house cleaning services. Does anybody keep a list of all these people? Agents looking for experience, ask them to host open houses for your listings, hold them open each weekend, offer to let them post your listings on their social media to increase their professional social media presence. Are your allied resources top-notch, the best in their field? Do you recommend their services to others as often as they recommend you for everything real estate related? And is that a fair trade-off? Think of these resources as preferred partners. Elevate them in your mind and theirs. Even with preferred partners, it's important that the way they work well with you. Talent matters. Talent matters when allied resources as well. The more talented your team is, the fewer members you will need on your team. Communicate expectations. You want your allied resources to provide your customers with the same excellent experience that you provide. Make sure your partners know this. Anybody have a bad home inspector or one that takes 6 hours?
Once out of 10.
Yeah.
Every time.
Won't shut up.
up.
Yeah, does anybody have that? Anybody like to keep them around?
Our experience is like, I've had bad experience with a couple mortgage brokers where they just didn't know how to handle certain situations or was advising them wrong.
Could they blow a deal for you?
Yeah.
I'll bite into that, yeah.
Yeah. They told one of my clients it was okay for her to change her jobs while we were on a firm sale before we closed. Oh, yeah, no problem.
And buy a car.
Yeah, and buy a car.
That always helps.
Actually, I think that was another conversation.
You're gonna need a new car.
That's where you're gonna be.
Amanda's cringing.
Yeah, good.
Keep car payments. An application.
Has anybody ever asked any allied resources how they might help you with your business? Intentionally? You have?
Yeah.
Tell us.
When it comes for me, I work again with a lot of agents and a lot of mortgage brokers. And in sending my business to mortgage brokers, I want to know what kind of business they're coming back to me, or if they would like to come to open houses. If I have, like, there's common mortgage brokers, like our preferred partners at the office. I'm going to get in crap for saying this. I never use them. And I don't use them because every agent in the office uses them. So where is their business going? And it's like when you see these big mortgage broker companies or these big lawyers, like with the thing, who's sending the business back to you? So I have agents in different towns locally to here that have ties with Barrie, where I get most of my business from as referral agent. And I refer these agents to other agents in the office to use. But I'll tell you that this one girl in Hamilton who gets a lot of the business from our office, she always sends her business back to me. So, yeah, because she has ties here. So I get at least 4 or 5 deals a year from her. And when you're using these people, make sure, I'm of the opinion to make sure if you're going to have a referral connection with an agent, they should be having ties here where you're working, because that's where the business is going to come from. And there should be prominent agents that has enough business to send back to you, and same with the mortgage brokers.
So Allison said one of her daily tasks is to do her lead follow-up. It would be a good point to enter that in on a day, once or twice a week, that you reach out to your allied resources. Try to send them something of value. Don't go and say, will you give me a referral? Because that's just like walking up to somebody and saying, are you buying or selling? Like, you know, if they say no to those, you're done. But you might find an article, or they might be interested in a stat that you know, and always try to give. But you're just getting in their head that they think of real estate. But I would be intentional about that. We've got our people figured out. Now it's time to assess the systems we're using in our business. What? No systems, you say? No problem. Now that you know what you need to do and who you have doing it, it's time to tackle your systems and how things are done. You see, good times and good markets usually plant seeds of system inefficiencies that during tough times sprout into choking weeds of ineffectiveness. But when we tend to add staff rather than improve systems and end up putting pressure on our budget instead of on our processes. As we've covered before, when you hire the right people, they will bring with them the systems, tools, and know-how to automate, standardize, streamline, and organize your business. They'll free you up to do what you do best, and together you'll make your business to the next level, take your business to the next level, and that's the goal. Ask yourself what exactly needs to be accomplished to hit your minimum goals of sales and service quality without any extra effort or expense. Everything must be purposeful. Everything must be streamlined. The goal, less red tape and fewer distractions. Break things down into basic components and figure out what is the least you need to do right now to get the most out. Your systems must shift. Begin by detailing the consumer journey. Is there another slide? Begin by detailing the consumer journey within your business. Start your lead generation, moving through your follow-up, everything between appointment and close and post-close follow-up. The idea is to reevaluate how things are done and discover what's working and what isn't. The goal is to make maximum use of everything and everybody. Every activity must be streamlined. I just want to jump on an example here, and it may come up in the afternoon class. Because in real estate, everything is natural. As you solve, like first, if you have no leads, you find leads. And then if you got leads and no appointments, in between them, there's something broke down. And that was one of the points I want to talk about. If I give Chris 100 leads and there's no appointments, what's wrong? And it's not Chris, but what's wrong in that process? What happens in that process? As agents, we try to not do voice to voice. We try to text or email, when ultimately the goal should be voice to voice. And if you do get to the voice to voice, the message is the only thing that can be wrong, right? Like if 100 people raise their hand and say, I want to buy a house, is it likely that none of them actually buy a house? Not really. In the worst case scenario is 1 in 50 will buy a house. So you always have to be working, especially now that teams are in place. Everybody doesn't have Allison's job of doing everything. If you're a buyer's agent, you have time just to focus on the buyer cycle and really think it through. Okay, I've got all these leads and nobody bought. Why didn't they? Every once in a while, when you're going through that process, 1 or 2 will rise to the top, and that's your business. That's what we all hope for, is just that 1 or 2. Chris, you had that one that just came just like that, right?
Yeah.
You bought and sold, or like just bought them, right? But when you're doing all these actions, that's what gets you better. We've all had that one, but that's what gets you better over 4 or 5 or 10 years to know what message to say or how to tweak it or what to analyze. The idea is to reevaluate how things are done and discover what's working and what isn't. The goal is to make maximum use of everything and everybody. Every activity must be streamlined and purposeful. What's missing? Does anybody have something in their systems missing that's not on here? Your system should be documented so that if any person on the team leaves, it will be easy for someone else to step in and take over. Imagine if systems are not documented. A new person comes in and creates a new, untried, unthought through system. So Allison, you do everything, and your husband's a licensed agent. And if you got sick for 2 weeks, could your husband jump into your systems and take over? No. Other than natural talent, knowing what you do, but is it documented?
Some of it is, some bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Like how we handle sellers, like I have the checklist
Mhm.
for buyers and sellers, but I think it's not a full roadmap of what I do every day, so no.
Probably nobody's it, I would think. We went away for 6 weeks this year. We worked from where we were, but I think that was a good test of our systems. Like that things could go on if we weren't standing right there.
We were working remotely, but yes.
And did you work?
Yeah.
Her more than me. She's building the mortgage side of its team, so she's a little more hands-on than I wanted to. I work, but I think with systems in place, it just.
Did you find that the system works here when you guys were?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like a couple of times we went away for longer periods of time and things keep going now. That's our goal actually, is to be able to do that several times a year.
It's on a beach,
Sorry?
like an island.
Or we like flipping it, because whatever we're doing, we'd rather be able to manage the business as opposed to have to be stuck in the business.
But it's nice when you get a listing and you're, okay, someone's there to stage it, someone's there to take the photos, someone's there to list it.
Yeah, it's not
And
dependent
that
on you.
So-
That's the nice part. Now we move on to tools, because tools are part of your leverage along with people and systems. Let's explore the tools you're currently using along with the cost involved, value they provide. Every agent today uses technology to streamline, automate, and systematize their business. We use lots of different programs and apps to create marketing materials, track the progress from appointment and close, and communicate with customers. We use digital services like computers to track leads coming in, along with every interaction we have with the customer and keep us on schedule. Tablets to share listings and buyer presentations with clients and show homes, and phones for quick communications as needed. Who is using Command? You do, you do, you do, you do. Like for everything?
Not for everything. but
Okay,
for-
is it your only CRM?
Like, I would say most of the information is on my phone. So like, I don't put everything there.
Sarah? You're probably a loyal KW. Do you use Command for everything? Yes, everything.
Yeah, I used to use Market Leader and then I tried Realty, like I tried a couple other things. But I just found Command did what I needed to do. So yeah.
Good. They wanted me to ask. Command is available to all KW agents. It's more than just a CRM. It houses a suite of industry-defining interconnected tools supporting you from lead to close to lifetime client connections. With Command, you can command your database, contacts, and smart plans. So I don't mislead anybody. These things are not simple. So Command is not going to just do things for you. You're going to have a learning curve, period. Command your transactions. I think the office only does transactions through Command now, right?
Yeah.
Command your customer experience. With the KW app, you can connect with customers through one-on-one communications without leaving the app inside your KW app. Guides offer on-demand transactional information personalized to unique process for buyers and sellers. For the consumer, your KW app is a unique experience because they can personalize their app through collections, save searches, saving homes, hiding homes, etc. Those customer insights are visible inside Command, now providing a more comprehensive understanding of the client's needs and wants. How is it in Canada?
It's okay.
Thank you. Again, KW is a large American company. It works well in the States. It doesn't always work well for everything in Canada, especially with some of the searches.
It's fine if you're gonna use it as a database, if you're gonna track stuff,
Yeah.
if you're gonna track your emails, calls, calendars, and referrals is actually quite good for.
Yeah.
But Dave's right, it's very American, so it's sometimes.
Some of the stuff I would think are very important is in a lead generation manner. I wouldn't rely on. It'll come, but it's just not. Command your marketing. With designs, campaigns, and sites, you can deploy your effective and comprehensive multi-channel marketing and advertising strategy that delivers leads directly to your pipeline. Command your day with goals, tasks, and reports. You can always know what you need to do at a glance, while all keeping tabs on how each activity drives your big picture goals. And you can command your referral business, which is what Sarah talked about. So I just tried to give a referral away for Portugal. And I gave it to 3 Portugal agents, and none of them picked it up.
No,
Yeah, so if everybody's not, like, you go into it all the time, I assume,
Yeah.
right? You have to make that, if you're using Command, you're gonna be checking these things all the time. I guess people in Portugal are not checking it. So.
I don't just send them via that. I actually call the agents that I might be working with in areas that I don't use commonly, just so I can get a feel for who I'm sending my client to, because everyone can put their name in Command, and if they're an idiot, then I'd rather them not.
I would normally do that as well, but I just didn't think I could handle the language barrier. Any other platforms people use, that a tool you use in your business that you think helps your business that other people might look at? Yeah. Sorry,
In Brazil, everybody uses WhatsApp. I guess.
What's that?
what was it?
WhatsApp.
Oh, WhatsApp, okay. Anybody got a tip or tool they would share that they find that helps them be productive?
I have a whole section in my phone of just work stuff. Chat.
Uh,
Yes.
Amanda calls it my new best friend.
Yeah, it's super
Yes.
helpful. And Kirby's
New
new
girlfriend.
girlfriend. Kirby spoke about it yesterday and like the things that you can do with it. You can actually like speak to it and say, what prompts do I need to use to create a listing appointment? And it will tell you, I tried it, and it will tell you like the breakdown to create a listing presentation, sorry. So
Yeah,
chat, yeah,
it's great. What I find is the prep time to get what you want, you just need to prep. You just can't say, do something. You have to really put thought into what you're trying to get, but it'll do it amazingly. Anything else? Like ChatGPT is amazing, but that's just the beginning of, that's like 25 years ago, somebody sent that email. Now, in 2 or 3 years, I read China's trying to duplicate the human brain with artificial intelligence.
Good luck thinking with this thing, things.
Yeah. Chris, any tip on a tool that you would use?
Well, we have the team CRM system that we use.
So I've tried to get Chris into 2 of them. One is templates inside even your basic Gmail. Like when you have something that you do repeatedly, like an introduction to branding, you might create that template so you can have that out inside. I use text shortcuts a lot. So in most phones, they have text shortcuts. So often I'll hang up with an agent and I'll just quickly send them my contact information. All of these text shortcuts. I do this with listings. I do it with presentations. I do it with so many things because agents are the busiest people in the world. If you had to pull over and type a paragraph or a letter, you wouldn't do it, right? You can have them all set up and have them sent down inside. So for instance, sorry, Amanda. Chris and I are selling for a new home builder. Their whole package, I can send out to somebody in 2 seconds. And I get calls on this all day. They don't buy, but I get calls. So it's easy for me to send them. And if Amanda clicks on that link, she'll go right to our website. And those 2 little things, I probably have 30 or 40 email templates. And I probably have 30 or 40 text shortcuts. Remembering them is harder, but it's, the more you do them, yeah.
2 buttons.
Well, I use MM because it's the first 2 keys down the bottom when I'm driving.
Right,
Like, it's not logical. I just know I can hit
but
it.
like, so like MM is for rebuilds, MC is for,
CHB is Copper Blueberry. I don't have to remember, but if I want to send them a link to my calendar, it's CHB APPT, and then it sends them right to the calendar. Like, the point is, you can print that list. The point is, these things I can do in a second. So how many leads could I handle in a day with no shortcuts versus how often would you write a name down on a piece of paper and then 2 days later, what is that for, right? Like, we all do these things, so the more technology you can introduce, the better.
I guess, DocuSign, if anyone uses DocuSign here for contracts and stuff like that, and making templates, it's the most time-saving thing I've ever done.
Template, like what would the template look like?
So basically, if I'm sending a listing agreement with,
Signing instructions?
yeah, or for example, put in an offer, APS, confirmation of cooperation and schedule B.
Right.
That's right in Itso though, right? Like in forms?
No, this isn't DocuSign. So I have like templates in Trev, like fills in all the general information, and then in DocuSign, when I need signatures, I have it set up so when it recognizes, I put in an APS and it puts in all the signatures for me.
Amazing.
I don't have to.
I didn't know that it did
Amazing.
that. Like I
You
used
should
it all
teach
the
it
time.
well.
Yeah,
There's
and
lots of
So,
spreadsheets,
like-
drag.
Instead of dragging for 20 minutes, I just put it in, it's done in like a second.
I think this is amazing. You can also control C and control V. Like if you put the initials at the bottom of one page, you can
Yes,
just paste.
you can do that as well.
But the template sounds amazing.
So I have it for like all forms.
So anybody, Brendan's cell number is 555. Yeah.
Yeah, it's handy.
And by having these discussions with agents is how you pick up on these tips, right? So thank you. Anybody else have another brilliant one?
My favorite is the scheduling text message.
Oh, yes.
That's like huge for me, is because in that, yeah, like in negotiations in an evening, if it's 8 o'clock, obviously I'm gonna pick the phone and text, but if someone's texting me a question at 9:30 at night, I don't usually text them that moment unless it needs to be answered. Schedule it for the next morning.
How do you do that?
9 a.m. Well, I have a Samsung. I don't know how to
I
do
think
it.
it's an Android thing. I don't.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
It's like I could schedule it for 9 o'clock the next day, just again, if it's urgent, it's different. But if I don't want to start a conversation at 9:30 at night about something that doesn't need to be talked about, they get it the next day. The other thing I do is I pre-schedule people's birthdays into my into a text message right after I find out what it is. So I go, happy birthday, I hope you have a great day, and then I schedule it for their birthday, so they get it automatically.
You can't do it for next year.
Yeah, oh, you can do it for ever. So yeah.
Cool. So everybody should switch from an iPhone to an Android.
I agree with Gmail.
Yeah, you can do it with Gmail too.
Yeah, I use Boomerang on Gmail. So we all get a lot of emails. Boomerang, you just hit a button, it'll say return it in 2 hours, return it in 2 days, return it in a week. It's just a way of moving it around because we get so many emails. I might want to read that, but it's not pressing today. You can do it with schedule as well. Utilizing leverage will free you up to do what you do best, and together you'll take your business to the next level. This step of leverage was a big one, wouldn't you say? What are your ahas from this section? Anybody? Any ahas from the leverage side of things? We're not done yet. Please take a moment to evaluate this course with the QR code. We're done with that. Or we probably want that. If anybody would like to say how they like this course, there's a QR code there. Success happens when we take action on what we've learned. Now let's create an action plan for leverage. The next step is to evaluate your effectiveness in key areas of your real estate business.
Sorry.
I think you gotta keep going.
Yeah, but I'm pushing forward.
Page 38, back up to. I think there's 2 evaluations. Can you
Oh, I think maybe somehow.
try to go to 38?
Yeah, sorry, somehow I guess it jumped ahead.
One more?
There.
On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being expert effectiveness and 1 being beginner effectiveness, quickly rate yourself in categories on page 41. So I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Rod, pick number 1, 1 to 5. How are you doing on,
Let's say 3.
okay. Allison? You do it all.
2 on that one, I think.
Brendan?
On number 3?
Yeah, I know which activities are most dollar productive and must be completed first and well.
3.5.
Liam? I have all the right allied resources on my team.
I think 3.
3? That's pretty good. It's also good. I'm not just saying it. I would assume if it's a 3, they're giving you a referral. Somebody's giving you a referral.
I'm getting, start to get. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this.
Chris, I communicate my expectations and standards with everyone on my team.
Yeah, I would say probably 3, 3.5.
Sarah, my team and I are leveraging systems and tools to increase productivity and profitability. Anybody think these numbers would be higher? I agree with everybody's numbers, but does anybody think, hey, I'm surprised nobody's a 5?
I wish you might, but it's not.
No, but you have good people in here, like, you know, nobody's surprised that they're not a bit higher. Now that you've rated yourself and your effectiveness, put together an action plan for success. So the sheet allows for, if you print it off, to, this is what I mean about taking your brain to the next level. To print this off and say, okay, this is where I said I was a 2 or a 3. How am I going to get better at it? If it needs to, if these are the priorities, I need to get better at them. Somebody say a number between 1 and 6. 6. My team and I are leveraging systems and tools to increase productivity and profitability. What would the priority be and what's the plan to get better at it? We can all do this as just a group.
I guess like the priorities, leaving your paperwork and stuff like that for your admin, and then. Yeah, I guess that's the priority in the plan, is to leverage that so you can get better at lead generation and stay focused on what's gonna make you money.
Okay. So on lead generation, if you had more free time, what would be a plan for success? How could we get better at lead generation? If you didn't have all the distractions, you've got everything to do. If you removed everything to do and you could focus on lead generation, what would you do? If you had all the time in the day, what would be your plan to get better at lead generation?
To get better at it. So, well, I guess, like you mentioned, kind of working backwards in your numbers, and kind of going a little bit deeper, I think you have to figure out what lead generation model suits you best and what conversion rate of those leads turn to appointments. So I think calculating the only to knock on 100 doors to get 2 contacts, 50 appointments. I think focusing on how many hours a day you need to really buckle down, while you're leveraging systems to do the other tasks.
Amanda and I have challenged a lot of people to give us 100 names, and it seems to be difficult. So Amanda created a list, or Amanda and I, or whoever, I take credit for it, but Amanda, go through your channel. You're talking about Facebook, who do you
Well,
write here?
I said, because a lot of people are like 100 names, but how, like, when you get married, you probably easily can create 100 people. You know, you're going through your family members, your friends, then maybe your friends' parents that you grew up with and you're close to. Maybe you're still in touch with your school friends that you go to church, your small group, maybe you're in sports. Like, it shouldn't be who would you invite to your wedding, is who you should be able to come up with your 100 names, especially if you live in the town you grew up in.
I just want to relate that to a few other stats we know. We know that 80% of the business comes from people you know. We just know that. Why do we tend to take a lead generation tool to start with people we don't know? Because that's what we do. Door knocking, you don't know those people, somebody might ruin your day. Sarah mentioned that on the phone, you don't like that rejection. We know ourselves real well. Or even in your social media, when I ask about one or two, those aren't people you know, but we all know people, but yet we don't want to have that as our starting point. To me, I would think that should be your starting point. And when you talk about thinking things through to take them to the next level, that's the reason we thought of these 10 things is we're surprised people have trouble coming up with 100 names. It's just mind-boggling.
Most of my business is with repeat and referral coming from that kind of database sphere. I think the whole of why I mentioned like door knocking or that kind of lead gen is that that's the whole of my business where, you know, I have my database with, you know, your raving fans, but that's still not enough to feed, you know, where you want to take your business. So that's why I think the whole feeds.
Are you here this afternoon?
And here's one thought.
Yeah, so save that thought because that's a topic for the next course. But it's about the 80-20 rule. You know your 80, your 20, you know your 80-20, but our thought process doesn't jump to that.
Right.
And that's where it should jump to. So I will pick that up after. Remember that no one truly holds themselves accountable alone. To hold yourself accountable, you must set up a system of accountability. Who would like to share about evaluating effectiveness and what your action plan would be? I think we just discussed that.
When you asked for numbers, it's John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He said number 3, he yelled at 3.
Yeah, if I have time, so I'll focus on number 3.
Yeah, I just thought it was a good one to focus on.
Okay, and I just caught something. So you said if I have time.
Yeah,
What do you mean if you have time?
means if I focus on number 6. So if I have a system and tools in place, then I can put my energy in number 3.
Right. Are you busy? Okay, so I've just jumped on if you have time because it's a common comment among realtors. Realtors never have time. There's no realtor has too much time. Every realtor is busy. Even if they sell 2 houses a year, they will tell you that they're run ragged. So I would challenge us all to think that, is everybody full-time at real estate here? Just what you do for a living? How many hours a day do you put into it? You're here all the time, Brendan. Just make it
I
up.
don't know. Try to leave like 3.
So are you
Or get a
working,
headache.
and you work 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's working 50 hours a week. How many transactions have you done? Sorry, I'm gonna, 17 transactions. How long have you been here?
Like, since the start,
A year and a half.
a year and 6 months.
So that 17 is for a year and a half? Just give me a year, because I do my own math on some others.
What, for this year?
Yeah, just round it up. I know, 12, 15?
Yeah.
12. So if I work 50 hours a week, I only had to be, in a year, I only had to produce 12 times. Who has free time? How long does it take you to write an offer?
3 minutes.
When you really put real estate in perspective, I believe, and I'm trying to get this in my head right so I could articulate it to people. We stuff so much personal stuff in our work day, we never have time for anything in real estate. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but because we have freedom to do whatever we want in real estate, we tend to stack our day up with a bunch of personal stuff we have to do. And then, oh, I want to see a house, I'll shuffle it. Oh, I'm busy. And I really think I'm onto something there. Because if we said, I'm going to work from 8 to 5 every day, we would be bored out of our mind here. Chris comes in, he's pretty diligent with the several hours a day, right? I would hone in on those other 5 hours a day. Because there's no question he's doing the right things in that time. So it was just your free time comment. I think we all have a lot of free time if we're honest. We're just not willing to stuff the right things in there because it'll take some of our freedom away, which is why we get into real estate, because we're going to control our schedule and make $1 million. And then the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to lose control of your schedule because somebody's going to phone and say, I want to see a house right now. And you're going to juggle everything and we're going to starve. I'm not good at this one. It says nobody can really hold themselves accountable alone. I'm fortunate that our business is rolled along enough that accountability has never come into it. I guess I've always been more Amanda and I accountable to each other because we discuss stuff. Yeah, but I don't think if somebody's, and I think this would be hard if I'm honest on it, even on a team, if I was to try to hold Chris to an accountability level, what did you do with that lead? And it would become pressure to him, or Jen in particular, like she wouldn't like that. That's not why she got into real estate. But when I think of accountability, that's what I think of. And I'm not sure that's, I wouldn't like it if somebody did it to me, I guess is what I'm saying. If somebody said, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's not how I would like to do it.
But the accountability, I think by time blocking, you can hold yourself. Those things too. And be diligent and honest with yourself, like, was I actually degenerating or was I skipping Facebook? Right?
That's interesting.
He does say.
Is that possible? I was just like saying, I won't eat that last piece of chocolate cake in the fridge, and I'm gonna hold myself accountable to that, but it'll keep getting smaller. I don't know. I guess you're a pretty disciplined person to probably do what you're saying, but I'm not sure I could, if I'm honest. Because we push things off all the time, right?
It takes a disciplined person
Totally.
to be self-employed, like with the freedom that, like you were saying, we do have because of our business. I think that there is a misconception that I noticed a lot of like people that were home during COVID getting their real estate license because I can just do this on the side, like splash, like you can't. It's not as easy to do. But I think that being self-employed takes like a routine. Just
Who's considering going to Bolt? I've been to Bolt 3 times. Who's considering going to Bolt? If you do, and when you're done, send me an email what you think of accountability. Because it's a step to accountability.
everybody should be going.
Yes.
I'm good step one.
You're good. I'll be there for step one.
If you do what Bolt says,
I'm bringing the paper.
Bolt will double your business.
Accountability to me, I connect with a really good friend that's also a realtor in Niagara. So every couple of weeks we get connected and we put what are we celebrating this week? So when we talk to each other, okay, I got 2 leases, I sold the house and we add that information as, okay, we're celebrating, we're not.
That's
What
awesome.
did you do? What have you done? And why did you didn't call? Or
Yeah.
so we just changed how we talk about that, and now it's fun. So we always looking for when we're gonna get another coffee and just celebrate.
That's awesome. Bold is more of if there's 100 people in it, you're gonna be in groups of 10, and every Tuesday you're gonna say, well, you were supposed to call 100 people, how'd you do? And there's gonna be a lot of blank faces. Because again, they're gonna want to do those things, but probably not do them. If they did them, they would be smiling and say, hey, wow, that works. I got 2 more leads here. I've got this. So that's what I meant by the accountability. Accountability partner is awesome.
I think setting up yourself up in an environment for success is also a good idea. For myself, like working with the ability that we all have to work remotely and working from home, very easy to fill your day with, like for myself, cleaning the house and walking the dog. And
That's what I mean.
And then I have to pick up the kids from school and I drop off and I feel, so it's so easy to like fill your day with like busyness. And then, you realize, oh, I've only done an hour of lead gen or an hour of follow up, but my whole day was full.
Totally.
And those are not.
That's what I meant by busy. You're
Yeah,
busy.
so coming into for myself, I come into the office and I'm several days a week and I sit in one of those rooms and because the dishes in the sink. I can't
Perfect
see
habit.
anything.
That's right. Yeah, perfect habit.
Yeah.
And just a thought on top of what you said. So some people think as a realtor, if I have a 9 o'clock appointment in the morning and a 7 o'clock appointment in the night, I was busy all day. It's true.
Oh, yeah.
My day is full, yeah.
Exactly. And in a sense, I guess you were, you just could have time blocked those hours in between to be more productive. It is a job. If you're working 40 or, I don't care if you're working 30 hours a week, but if you're gonna put the time into for 30 hours a week, do it well. We've covered a lot about leverage today. When the market turns, we must be lean and leveraged. Does everybody agree that the market's turning? Is there anybody that thinks it's not? Do you have an opinion? How's the market?
It's balanced.
It's balanced. Balanced market, there's just as many buyers as there are sellers.
It depends on the market. So
Totally. But do you think it's headed up, strong, down, or do you think it's gonna stay?
I have new agents.
Yeah. We must uncover the biggest challenges and roadblocks to running a business and doing transactions and work to resolve them. We must challenge our teams to work at higher levels of skill and creativity than they have before. Every day there will be a new challenge that awaits a leader to help resolve it. And finally, as leaders, we must communicate, collaborate, and lead better than ever. To this, we must review the 5 steps on the slide. Learn to do more with less. Focus on the 6 core competencies of a real estate business. Hold everyone, including ourselves, accountable to high standards. Follow a clear process for top grading your people. Assess and upgrade your systems and tools manually. A comment on the accountability. I think one of the questions we get from the assessment things is, you can answer, how is the best way to communicate? It always comes up with a question, and I think
On a
that's.
KPA, like if you're interviewing someone for our team, we always do a personality assessment. But it does ask, how do you like to be communicated so that we know that we're a good fit for them? If they don't like accountability, well.
How do you like being accountable? Because it's a fair question. If I'm gonna meet with Chris once a week, how's the best way to discuss these things? As opposed to, what did you do with this? What did you do with this? Because that's probably not an effective way to coach anybody. You do coach, don't you? You're involved in coaching? No? Yeah. So it's probably that's an analogy, right? Like everybody has to be coached. Some people might have to be yelled at, and some people might like a lot of grace. Like, I'm sure. I don't know why that is exactly. Let's wrap up what we've learned today by examining our objectives for today. Identify the 6 core competencies of a business. Assess yourself and the people on your current team. Evaluate the effectiveness of your systems and tools. Not all of you run a team system, and that is just personal reflection. Learn to do more with less. So when it talks about expenses, if you're a solo agent, you have your own expenses. If you have to cut expenses, what are you going to cut? Right? If we're headed into worse times, somebody has a lot of billboards and bus stop shelters. One person. If there was a shift and he had to cut, if he cut his billboards, he would probably cut back a lot of money, right? Like there's certain, like you have to know what your business is and where your expenses are, so what you can cut back quickly. So if you see less of his signs in the next 12 months, remember what I said. Focus on the 6 core competencies of a real estate business. Hold everyone, including ourselves, accountable to high standards. Follow a clear process for top grading your people. Assess and upgrade your systems and tools manually. And that is our course. One thing to add to your action plan is attending the complete set of shift strategy courses. Each one is built with mindset and specific actions to take now to succeed in the market that either is here or coming. The next one, is it on the Wednesday or the Thursday? Did you
It's
move
on the Wednesday
It's on
next
the
week,
Wednesday.
yeah. Thank you for the show, by the way.
So did we move because of the top 20 yesterday? Yes. Does anybody have any ahas for what we went over today?
I guess, talking about, I think the vendor thing is pretty interesting. I mean, using, the amount of vendors we do, not getting much business.
And it's also training them, right? Like, it's a matter of telling them, hey, if everybody ever know if we're thinking about buying or selling a home, hopefully they'll think
I
of
guess
me.
it's a bit different for team than individual. I mean, I guess I mean, just going off of the team's vendors, I mean, you have your own.
Well, it's tough if you're on a team to have your own. If the team has a structure, you're using their vendors, right? But that vendor can give the lead to the team. I know the more I remove myself from appointments, I don't deal as much hands-on with the vendors. I only hear about it when this guy's just too busy now. And I'm like, you know, I think we just went through that a while ago with the photographer. So now we just have a couple of photographers. It doesn't always work, but it's just, you always want to be talking in ways of something that would be fruitful. Sometimes, if you're a solo person, you're probably better to deal with a solo person yourself. Because if you're dealing with somebody who deals with everybody, the chances of them knowing 50 realtors. How many sign guys are there now? Who does people use for the signs?
On the move, signs, Don Davis.
Never heard of him. But
It's on, down past Kawartha Dairy.
on Ann Street?
Yeah, Gibson Digital.
Yeah, they're still doing signs?
They'll do.
I don't know.
Scary.
They own it?
Yeah,
He puts in the posts and makes the signs and stuff and.
Yeah.
that's what we use.
It's easy, convenient.
Birds.
Sheep, fish. I don't know.
I wasn't looking at cost. I was just looking at that.
Yeah.
Used to be just him, kind of,
Yeah.
like there wasn't a big choice, so. there's
You go
nothing-
in, there's freaking hundreds of signs.
Yeah,
From
sure.
hundreds.
Laying all over the place,
Yeah.
the same signs all the time.
Yeah.
Last time I went in there was the last time I went in there, and several years ago, and he told me I couldn't make him give me his information to get information off of my website. I said, I'm not making you, don't do it. I don't care. And he said, well, I want the information. So we'll go to realtor.ca. But he was telling me what, because he couldn't get something without subscribing. So I said, it's free information. You're just on the wrong site. I was kind of surprised that he would be confrontational since I was giving him business. If you didn't before, so he doesn't give me referrals.
Well, that's good to know.
Again, I think on the QR code, if you would, they were looking for evaluations of what the content of the material that they produced is, and that is section 3. And then we're gonna break for
Half an hour?
half an hour, and then we're gonna come back for section 4.
I just have one question. With lead generation, that's the whole base of our work. Do you find that it changes with the shift? So if you are like the lead generation should be, doesn't matter which shift you are or kind of a
Yeah, so
markets you are.
this one was about doing more with less, making sure you're fine tuned. Section 4 is about lead generation, and some of those topics will come on. Are you here for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's solely about lead generation, Matt. In my mind, where does your work come from? Do you track it? Like, if you had
Mine right now, it's first time home buyers. So it's 80% of first time buyers. So, and I find that with the shift, there are a lot of kind of, okay, I want to wait. I want to see how it goes next year. And I do work with a lot of investors, and they are also, no, that's not the right duplex that I can avoid by. So
yeah.
It's the two.
Yeah, first time home buyers is a very, very tough market. What is that? What's a first time home buyer? What dollar value is a first time home buyer right now?
Are you talking about like future reference? Like,
No, I'm just saying,
Like what?
Rod said he
oh,
specializes.
I was thinking like dollar value is how much you're gonna for first time home buyers. Yeah, out of them for the rest of the.
No, sorry. What house value?
So around 4 or 5.
4 or 5. So where are you finding $400,000 or $500,000 houses?
Oh,
There's none.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. The first time home buyer market is very, very tough right now.
Right,
If the first time home buyers market is the 750 that we're seeing,
right.
what constitutes a first time home buyer? So when you say a lot of your work's coming from that, I'm thinking I'd be afraid of
Yeah,
that.
and it's still, I still find because maybe the buyers that we work, usually they are immigrants, they came here with a visa for, they can transform in a permanent residence, and they bring a lot of money because they sold everything to start a life here. So it's not that they don't have the down payments or they have the money, they have 100, 200. I got a client that pays 600,000 cash because they have the money, they sold everything
That's
there.
okay.
They just need to get.
There's not a ton of those.
No, but in our, because she's also in Brazil, we're doing the same. So we do have a.
Where are you from?
Brazil.
Brazil.
So 23 years here, but my main clients are in New Zealand, Portugal, even the speakers in Spanish. So when we work with them, they do have money. They're just waiting to get their PR or their established work. And as soon as they have 150,000 income, they can afford 600,000-700,000. So I don't find difficult with them with down payments, how we proceed with any, like my kids are 20, they can save enough for a down payment now. Now, I find that because the interest rate is so high, so it's almost like, okay, I need to shift my lead generation instead of just focus on first-time home buyers, and maybe the last 3 years that I've been over 30 deals, maybe they want to start selling. And
Do you actually track where your leads come from?
I do.
Where you're working?
Yeah.
So do I. Most pays the places where say that's so. It's not arbitrary.
It's just.
So you have $100,000 in income, and you have one, the first column that says 70 or 80% of my work. And then the next one, don't put this, in the next session, we're talking focusing on the transaction, get lazy. So that you have the first kind of home buyer market.
Yeah.
If that's what that column was.
Yeah.
Start to think beyond
Yes.
just if we find how do I get better? How do I get more? Because that's your challenge is there. So again, several years ago, we started doing co-ownerships. Now you're hearing this phrase all the time.
Yeah.
So can I find a way of adding co-ownership into my first time buyer, two people? So we say because people who come over and they qualify everything, you know, I might be able to create another mission where I find two hundred houses and get them into. But you're still in that box,
That's
but you're just expanding.
Yeah, that's my niche.
Yeah, and expand it, don't start, like, again, I would door knock if I had time, I just don't have time to door knock, I don't disagree with this, but I already am those days, if I had nothing to do with nothing to eat, that's probably right.